So welcome, everyone, students, teachers, parents, friends, colleagues. My name is Sarah Hardesty. I am a professor at Marymount University. I'm in the Fine Arts Department. We are now in the School of Design and Art, and we're really happy about some new changes that have happened. So it's my honor and pleasure to have this opportunity to get to see all the student work, to work with Erica Harrison from the Greater Reston Art Center. It's a joy. I know there's a lot going on for everybody right now in many different ways, but I really appreciate everyone's efforts and I'm happy to be a part of this. So thank you all for being here tonight and or this evening and for the work that you're doing. So I just wanted to briefly say that this is put on by the Fine Arts Department, by the School of Design and Art. It's a collaborative effort. This started in 2018 with Professor Joe Hicks and I, and it kind of started small and it's been growing every year. And we really want this to be an opportunity for everyone to get to share the work. And even if they're not getting into the exhibition, they get that opportunity to apply. Because as an artist in this world, this is what we do. We just apply, we put the work out there, we try to share and communicate what's going on. So that's when this started. This is our third year. And we're very lucky to have Erica Harrison, who's curated the show. She looked at all the submissions and did a very thoughtful curation, which she'll share in a few minutes. And then just to let you know, the website, it's dedicated to the exhibition, but there's some more information about fine arts. There's the curator statement on there. So please have a look either now or later at the website and find your way through. There's links to our program as well and links to Instagram, Facebook, and ways to contact us if you have any questions. So welcome. Erica, in learning more about her experience, you know, we wanted her to curate the show. She was able to, and it's been a real pleasure to get to meet her and talk to her. And she wanted to share with you all some of her background and why this experience is especially important to her. She's an assistant curator at the Greater Reston Art Center, which is a wonderful organization. And we're just so happy that you could do this and spend the time. So thank you and welcome. So I just want to also let you know kind of the program. Erica is going to speak, and then I'm going to invite any teachers if you'd like to share any thoughts. And then what I'll do is as I'm sharing my screen, I'll go through the show and I'll list each of the artists and the title. And if students want to, some of the students, we invited the students to speak, some want to, some don't, some might change their minds. But as I'm on your piece, students, if you'd like to just share any thoughts about the work, you know, it's just another way to communicate some of your great thoughts that have gone into all this work. So please feel free to speak up as we go through your work. And then after we go through the show, there'll be an announcement of awards. And then if we have time, a brief discussion, question and answer. So welcome, Erica.
I don't think my camera's on. No, my video's
Sarah, everybody hear me okay? I really appreciate being here, and I'm so pleased to be able to.
Somebody has, if everybody could just double check that they're muted, that would be great.
Okay, I think I did that. So I'm so pleased to be here this evening. Thank you, Sarah Hardesty, for all of your work and making this really a smooth process, and also thankfully a collaborative process. It's been really great to be able to have some back and forth with you. So I really appreciate the invitation to serve as juror. As Sarah said, I currently work as the Associate Curator and Festival Director at Greater Reston Art Center, which is also known as GRACE, and it's located in Reston Town Center. We are a dynamic contemporary nonprofit art gallery, and we focus on contemporary art and conversations. I have received critical acclaim for some of the exhibitions that I've been a part of, curating thematic and group exhibitions with our executive director and curators that focus on conceptual themes in contemporary art. I have also developed solo exhibitions in our satellite gallery, which is also located in Reston, called Signature Apartments, for the past 3 years. I serve as the festival director for our Northern Virginia Fine Arts Festival, which happens every spring, although not this year. But I am the artist liaison and manage the event logistics for over 200 visiting artists. So throughout my work at Greater Reston Art Center, where I've been there almost 14 years, I have had the opportunity to promote the talents of young artists in the community, and this occasion has been one of the best. And one of the reasons that it became really a great experience was because as soon as I started looking at the submissions, I was taken right back to my experience as a young artist in Fairfax County. I attended James Madison High School, and it was there that I was given the opportunity to explore different artistic mediums. My art teachers at the time, and also my math teacher, in a funny way, really suggested that art be my vehicle for communication. And after high school, I didn't quite know exactly how I was going to approach the world. And so with the skills that I had built in high school, I became a muralist and worked for several years with a very prominent mural company. And as I did that, I then transferred to, as most, well, I won't say most students, but a lot of students in our area do, go to Virginia Commonwealth, Northern Virginia Community College. And through those professors and learning more about some of the resources that were available through the community college system, I really found a wealth of information before I decided to transfer to Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond. And I did eventually get or earn a BFA in painting and printmaking. But I also minored in art history and psychology. And the reason I throw that in there is because I think it's important for students to know that you don't necessarily have to choose one thing all the time. So when I was going through these submissions and looking at these portfolios, I was really struck by the honesty in them. And it was really a pleasure to take a glimpse into your lives. You shared your humor, you shared your grief. Some of you just said it was a class assignment, and that was fine too. The things that I looked for, and when I speak to artists and when I look at portfolios or I look at work, the things that I do is that I ask questions. I ask questions about the art and the artist, but I also ask questions about myself. What is this that's drawing me in? What does the composition say? How are the colors used? Does this artist have an understanding of building a composition that is interesting and intelligent? And does it show some sort of curiosity? So Sarah has been really wonderful and made a beautiful website to show the artist's work. I'm really excited to hear from some of the artists. You all have a lot of really great things to say. But I also want to thank Sarah for laying out the show, even in this virtual space, with the care that I would have approached in the gallery. I think it's really important that when work is shown, it is in a respectful way that has some breathing room. And I think Sarah has done a really good job with that. I will say that finalizing the selections for the exhibition was challenging. There really were just a lot of wonderful submissions. And I really tried to make sure that I was connecting work together that had sort of a flow. So strong composition is definitely a part of that. Questions about what might be happening, open-ended questions, which are super important. Some of those things. And again, Sarah was so gracious and put up my curator statement, which you don't have to read now, but says that a little bit better than I just articulated. So I'm going to turn it back over to Sarah because I want to see the show in its entirety and hear from the artists.
Thank you so much, Erica. So just briefly before we do dive into the show, I wanted to see, I know people have different schedules, if any of the teachers, we have a few that have really invited their students to come, and I don't know everybody who's on. I can't see everybody now, but please take this moment to, and you can also speak later as well if you're not ready to, but if anybody would like to share a couple of words about their students or their experience or anything, I just will leave a little time for that now.
I would, if that's okay.
That'd be great. Thank you, Matt.
Matt Ravenstahl, I teach at South Lakes and am very familiar with Grace, and we have a long cooperative history with that space. So it's nice to see Erica. This is a great exhibit that I love to participate in. What you guys do is wonderful, and it's a great opportunity for the students, and I enthusiastically present it to the students every year, when it comes about. I am, my students haven't seen me all week. I'm actually in Pittsburgh. I had a bit of a family tragedy and unexpected death, and we're sort of dealing with the fallout from that at the moment. So being in a bit of a contemplative mood, what we really emphasize, where I teach in my department is art is more than just skill development. As Erica was just saying, it's a lot about constructing meaning out of the experiences that we have in life. So with us, the students, they really do have to, we always say, to use the cliche, throw them in the deep end of the pool, and they're forced to sort of start thinking for themselves and literally start to try and figure out what are they about as an artist. And we try and push them into things that they may not normally do. And the students that were selected in here range in ages from 9th grade through seniors, from my school anyway. And they are, every single one of them is equally as academic in their thought process as they are skillful in their material execution. And we think that's essential, that the thinking is there, and that the meaning and the feeling is there. Working with students like this and taking part in events like this, I am reminded in years like 2020 and weeks like this, for me personally, it brings joy and meaning to my life. I don't worry as much about I will or won't be in personally, but when students have the opportunity to participate and be recognized, that brings real value to me and to my life. So I appreciate it very much. And I'm not trying to be rude, but I have to be about 45 minutes away in about 50 minutes. So I have to hop off and go. But thank you very much for this opportunity. I enthusiastically support it every year.
Thank you so much, Matt. And I'm sorry for your loss. I hope everything's okay with your family. I really, really appreciate everything you've been doing and that you do. So it's great to hear your thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you.
I also, in the meantime, if other people are thinking if they want to speak, I wanted to just briefly introduce Joe Hicks. I don't know if you were here when I first was talking about when we started, but Professor Hicks is on sabbatical this semester, so don't feel obligated to speak right now. But this is very much a collaborative effort to me. We would be doing it together right now if he wasn't on sabbatical, so it's great to see you here too, Joe. Would anybody else like to share now? Otherwise, I'll just jump into the show. Oh, great, Gina. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better than Matt, and I feel so bad for his tragedy. And of course, as soon as I start speaking, my dog has decided that it's playtime, and so I've got that going on. So I'm talking amidst a bunch of First of all, I want to thank Sarah and Joe. I guess he's on sabbatical, and for this art contest and this opportunity. Secondly, I want to say on a complete side note, I don't know what kind of lighting you're using, Sarah, but you have the most attractive lighting on Zoom ever. Your visual's great, whereas I got this glaring light happening on me. But I also wanted to really congratulate the students. It has been really difficult for them in, I think, virtual learning. And I'm sorry, it's not coming across with all of the dog noises on the side. And I really think that they stepped up. And thank you so much, Erica, for being the juror for this show. I think the work speaks volumes, and I agree with that. I think they really did an amazing job, and they're really expressing themselves in a time when it's pretty difficult for all of us, but especially for them in the social environment. And we don't know if we're going to go back to physical school. I really appreciate the fact that you continue to do this, and then you did such a beautiful job having this so that they can come back to this gallery for an entire month to show everyone really what they accomplished during the pandemic.
That's really great to hear. Thank you, Gina. And thanks for all of your efforts. We've had so many submissions from your students. It's really wonderful what you do. So thank you. So please, somebody, if you'd like to speak, feel free to jump in. Other than that, I'll start going through the show. That doesn't mean that we're done talking while I go through the work. If you're a student, please forgive me if I mispronounce your name. I didn't have time to make sure that I get all the pronunciations right. So please feel free to correct me. Just unmute yourself and say it correctly. I'll do my best, of course, but I might make a couple mistakes there. And hopefully all the information is correct. I'm working off what we have from you. But after, so what I'll plan to do is I'll make each piece bigger. I'll say the student's name, the title, and then what medium it is, if we have that information. And we'll just look at the image for a couple of seconds, not too long, because we have about 60 images, I think, in the show. So we'll scroll through. Again, I'm just going to post the website again here in case some new people came on, so that you're welcome to scroll through on your own as well. But we'll go through as a group. Feel free to scroll through on your own. And then when we're done with that, again, we'll do the announcement of the awards, and then we'll have some time for Q&A. So thank you for all being here and for everyone saying their comments. It's been really great to hear everyone's thoughts. And we were really happy to be able to do this show, and specifically wanting to continue to give students the opportunity. Yeah, that's funny. Of course, Gina, right? Yeah, it's very real world. We all get to see it all. So I'm just gonna close my chat to make sure that I can see my directionals here. And if you're on the website, all I did was clicked on one of the images, it goes bigger, and you can scroll through to the right or left, either by clicking an arrow or just the arrow on your keyboard should work as well. And you can also zoom in, or you should be able to zoom in. If you double click on the piece, you can get a detailed view, which might be really nice for some of the paintings and mixed media pieces. So hopefully everyone can see this okay. It's a little blocked on mine because I see some of you here, but as long as you just let me know if there are any issues, of course. So this first piece, and I also just briefly want to say there's some works that we were able to keep together if students got multiple pieces into the show. And there were a couple that, because of the pace of the exhibition, which was very thought through, we didn't put them together. That's on purpose. So it might be that there's another piece you see later on by the same student. So enjoy. This first piece is by Paolo Aranda, and the title is Homeless Man, and it's a digital photo. Whoops. This isn't all smooth. The second piece is by Oleksandr Humeniuk, and it's called In the Middle of Nowhere, and it's also a digital photo.
Yeah, thank you. You pronounced it right. So for this one, can you hear me first of all?
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. For this one, I took a shot of my friend looking outside of the frame. I saturated this picture a bit to make it more dramatic maybe. And then I also removed some objects that were behind the fence. And I think that the sign US property, no trespassing, my friend Luke And the fans itself are kind of symbolic, and for different people, these symbols can mean different things.
Thank you so much for sharing some of your thoughts. It's wonderful to hear what's going on for you guys when you're taking the piece of the picture. And of course, we might have our own interpretation, but then it just usually gives it another layer or multiple layers of meaning for your thought process. So the next piece is by Catherine Gallazin, and it's called Put on a Smile. And it's also a digital photo. The next piece is by Rosa Gonzalez, and the title is Yellow. It's a digital photo. The next piece is by Oliver Bullington McGuire, and the title is Double Chin. It's acrylic on canvas on an ovular canvas. The next piece is by Sydney Dalton, and the title is Ghost Town, and it's a digital photo. This is also by Sydney Dalton, and it's titled Mountain. This is by Carly Cameron. It's untitled, and it's a photograph. This is by Sahitya called Attention. It's chalk pastels and paint. I don't know what it's on, but I think it's on some kind of, it looks like it's on some kind of mylar paper. The next piece is by David Raw, and it's titled Chains. It's oil on canvas, and it's on a 20-inch diameter canvas.
Yeah, so this was an oil painting that I did, and my intent for this piece was to depict the systematic disadvantages that specific minority groups face in today's society, and also their ability to persevere through these challenges.
Thank you, David, for sharing. Sorry, sometimes it. The next piece is by Jessica Page, and it's titled Space Angel. It's a photograph. The next piece is by Maxine Prudhomme, titled Flowers, and it's digital art. This is also by Maxine Prudhomme called Hand the Beetle. Also digital art.
Yeah, so my intention with these pieces is to kind of explore queerness and like how do I was my goal was kind of to represent queerness with symbolism and like human figure and form while also just developing my technique with like drawing people and stuff.
Thank you, Maxine. Yeah, there are three. She had 3 pieces. She got all 3 pieces in the show. So I wanted to also forward the 3rd one while she was speaking. I thought they were paintings when I first saw them. They're very nice. Okay, great. Thank you. This is called, this is also by Maxine, in case I don't know if everyone can see everything or if some people are listening, but the 3rd piece here by Maxine is called Andro. And it's also digital art. This is, the next piece is by Delana Johnson, titled Eyes, and it's a digital photo.
It's Delina Johnson, but it's okay. It's okay.
Delana, thanks. The next piece is by Sophia X or XXX, and it's a photograph. The next piece is by Philip Warren, and it's titled The Flag. And it's a digital photograph. This is also by Philip Warren, and it's titled Tree. This is by Songkran Merritt, and it's titled Zafletri. It's a pen and ink, just one pen and ink. The next piece is by Mason Taylor, and it's called Pepperoni Pizza Boy, and it's paint and markers and mixed media, or sorry, paint markers and mixed media. This is also by Mason Taylor, and it's called Not Your Petting Zoo, and it's paint. And this 3rd piece is also by Mason Taylor called Me, Myself, and I, and it's a digital photo. This piece is by Katya Little, and it's titled Eve. It's digital art.
I think it's so cool of her to hear you shall be like God and go for it. Like, good for her. That's just what I thought.
Thank you, Katya. This piece is by Sophia Salinas, and it's titled USA. It's a digital photo. My kids really liked this one, by the way. I have 2 girls. They were very excited about this one. This is also by Sophia Salinas. It's titled Dog, and it's a digital photo. This is by Juana Hernandez, and it's titled Alaskan Hospital Destroyed by World War II. It's charcoal on paper, and it's quite large. It's 48 by 36. This piece is by Meaghan Mazel, Bridge of Lines, and it's a digital photo. This piece is by Aidan McGilvray. It's called Slanted Bridge, and it's a photograph. This piece is also by Aidan, and it's titled Phone. And there's a third piece by Aidan titled Graffiti. This piece is by Audrey Kim. The title is Sunflower, and it's acrylic. This piece is by Spencer Strebe. The Road Ends Here, and it's a photograph. This piece is by Brianna Lee. It's titled Need Some Space. It's a digital art piece. This piece is by Sibylle Zanol, and it's titled Gaia, and it's a digital photo. This piece is by Amelie Soto. It's titled Organic Teapot, and it's ceramics. This piece is by Simone Stevens, and it's titled Freeform Jazz and Exploration, Black and White, and it's acrylic on canvas. This piece is by Vanessa Warren. It's titled Houses, and it's watercolor. This piece is also by Vanessa Warren, titled Hole Puncher, and it's pen and ink. This piece is by Natalie Moreno. It's titled Portrait of a Rat Family, and it's acrylic and fiber paste. There's two other pieces by Natalie. I don't know if you wanted to say anything, Natalie, but go ahead if you're here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Great.
This is a portrait of me and my best friend. This was the second version of it. The first was a black and white, and I did the first one 2 years ago, so I was just like revising it. And then, yeah, this one. Yeah, this is called Hope. It's obviously about what's going on right now. And it was inspired by the expressionist painter Paula Modersohn Becker because she created a piece called Old Peasant Woman Praying. And it was in this same position. And basically, Paula Modersohn Becker's point of the painting was to like show respect to the peasants who were like kind of scrutinized at the time. So I wanted to like show respect to the doctors who are still working.
Great, thanks, Mallory. This piece is by Mindy Zhang. It's titled Gut Feeling, and it's digital art and ceramics. This piece is by Milagro Rosa Flores, and it's titled The Happy and Sad Feeling. And there weren't a medium given for this, but I think that it's pen and ink on paper. I guess, but I could be wrong. This piece is by Betty Liu. It's titled Halloween Wonderland, and it's acrylic watercolor, colored paper, and glue. This piece is by Camila Ichiago, Not Like You, and it's watercolor. This piece is by Isabel Obey. It's titled Four Eyes, and it's digital art. This piece is by Aubrey Mahoney, and it's titled 888. It's digital art. And when it's smaller, I don't know how to get this off of there, unfortunately, but when it's smaller, you can see the whole piece. This piece is by Wifin Renee, and it's titled Class of 2050. It's acrylic paint on paper. And this piece is also by Wifin Renee, and it's titled Strawberry Girl, acrylic paint and oil pastel on paper. This piece is by Alexander Humeniuk. We saw his piece second when he spoke. This one is titled A Beautiful Girl, and it's a digital photo.
I just want to say a couple more words about this picture.
Yes,
So
please.
this is a picture of my friend next to the Washington Monument in DC. I used some warm filters to give this chill autumn feel and atmosphere to it. And I think she looks absolutely stunning on this picture.
Great, thank you. This piece is by Saul Lara. It's titled Halo, and it's a digital photo. This piece is by Keish McCarley. It's called Happy Keys, and it's a digital photo.
Hi, my name is McCarley, and I worked so hard on this photo. I love it. I got really lucky with the sunlight because it's shining down right on Rose. That's the little girl that I babysit right there. And I really wanted to go for a dream world type fantasy type of look in this photo, and I think I hit that perfectly. I mean, the smile on her face says it all. She's thrilled.
That's cool, thank you. The next piece is by John Juarez. It's titled Tower, and it's a digital photo. And the next piece is also by John Juarez, titled Sunset. The next piece is by Ilse Eriksson. It's titled Pink Bliss. It's a digital photo. And this piece is also by Ilse Eriksson, titled Clementine Sky. This piece is by Olivia Kivy. It's titled A Stroll on the Beach. It's a digital photo. This piece is by Justin Delgado, titled Tempest, and it's a digital photo.
Thank you for all these photos, this full set. I just wanted to show how small we are compared to nature. And you can see that with this small silhouette and how far away they're not really that focused into the camera. I'd like to thank my teacher, Ms. Davidson, for all the help and support to getting me here. And thank you.
Thank you, Justin. It's so great when you guys chime in and share some of your thoughts. It really breathes this life into the work. So I think we all appreciate hearing your thoughts. Thank you. And this is the last piece, also by Justin Delgado, titled A Light. And then it just scrolls through to the beginning. So you guys know that's how you can kind of go through the show. And also scroll through the show, it's set up with this 3 in mind, but if you have it on your phone, it'll still, the read from one to next was something that we were thinking about when laying it out. So you can scroll through like this and just get a clip of one. And if there's one you want to look at, you can just click on it. You can zoom in if you want to get a little bit more detail. I wanted to kind of just do each one equally, but you guys on your own, this show will be up for a month and you can take your time and look through the work. Wonderful, wonderful, powerful, strong work that everybody did. It was such a pleasure to get to look at it for so long while I was putting it on the website. I'm thoroughly impressed, and it was a very wonderful experience getting to go through all this. So congratulations, students, to you all for your work.
You did so well. It was so great to go through the show again like that, Sarah. Thank you.
So I would just, at this point, what I would like to do is invite Erica to announce the awards. We'll start with honorable mentions, and then we'll move up to Best in Show at the end. If Erica, when you're mentioning them, if you want to say, what the award is at some point, because we didn't announce that, or I can also say it now, whatever is better. The 3 main awards have a gift card that will be associated with them, so we can talk about that then. But you all did amazing work, and the show, seeing each piece next to the other 2 informs, and it's beautiful work. And then if we have time at the end, of course, we can ask questions, and I can pop around to different pieces if somebody has a specific piece or a comment. And I'll mute myself for right now. I have my fan going on. I know it might be loud, so I'll just mute myself.
Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, so as you can tell, going through that show, not only were the 60 that were selected amazing, but all of the submissions had a lot of care in them. And it really was very challenging to narrow down the selection. So I think for everyone who submitted, really, thank you very much for allowing us to see, into your life and putting yourself out there as an artist. I mean, it takes courage. Whether you get into the show or not, you still have to decide, am I ready for this? Am I going to put myself forward like this? And for those of you who met that challenge, you really should feel very, very proud. So as you could tell through looking at the show, there were a lot of artists. The ones that I found notable and selected as awardees not only showed all of those things that we talked about earlier, but also demonstrated a willingness to explore and push themselves and use their art in a way to tackle an issue that they're passionate about or find more information about. So I think the honorable mentions I'll start with Natalie Moreno, who we were so privileged to hear from, the painting Hope of the COVID doctor. One of the reasons that this work stuck out, and I think somebody mentioned it in the chat, was obviously reference to art history and learning from masters, figuring out how to manipulate paint and build a composition while you're looking at someone else's work, but still making it your own, is really challenging. And I think that this painting has a lot of feeling. I also see, you know, the German expressionists coming through. It's just all there. And I think it's a really good example. But as you saw, Natalie also had two other really strong pieces as well. So Natalie, when you chimed in and shared with us that the conjoined piece was revisited, you had done a composition and then you went back and revisited it. It reminded me of how important it is for artists to continue to self-edit. That is a skill that nobody's going to be able to teach you. But if you continue to investigate your work and figure out what is good and what needs to stay and then what needs to go and what you want to focus on, it's going to make you a stronger artist. So I congratulate you for already, you know, figuring that out. The next honorable mention was Maxine Prudhomme. Maxine also had 3 pieces of digital art. All were amazing. And this particular piece, Andro, it really struck me with attention and intention. So the subject is very strong. Obviously the tension that's there is in the way that the body is being held by this strange rail of sorts, and yet it is very complex. And I really enjoyed trying to figure out, which you can't see on the screen, but when you visit the show on your own monitor, go zoom into that ear, because, oh good, Sarah, you can do that. It's so complete, the way that she's really paid attention to these details and these nuances of human proportions. And then all of a sudden, when you look at that hand gripping the rail and the feet slightly turned up and they're not quite, there's something kind of, it's just sitting in an interesting way. So I really enjoyed looking at this piece. All your pieces were great. But this one really struck me as being very poignant to what your intention was. The next artist that I wanted to bring attention to was Mason Taylor. He did a digital photograph as well as a drawing and a painting. But the digital photograph was, I thought, a really great narrative in his composition with himself. And as artists who are self-referential in their portraits, it's really quite astounding when you can get that conversation going and it doesn't feel contrived. I think the imagery, the way that you've laid out the props, the way that you've manipulated you know, your torso and your neck and certainly your eyes, it really tells a story there. And I just found it very compelling. And it's so funny too. Just made me laugh. But yeah, the drawing and the painting also were amazing. And I like the thought between each one. I mean, you were really honest with why you were making them and what was important. And I think writing about your work and delving into why you did something is important. And I really appreciated you sharing your statements, as with everybody who shared the statements. The last honorable mention was for David Raw's oil painting on his circular canvas. I'd like to point out, I believe this oil painting is fairly, yeah, so 20 inches in diameter, not quite 2 feet, in oil paint is pretty amazing. I think, David, you obviously have a great understanding of how to manipulate oil paint to make it look like there is graffiti on a concrete background, and yet you also have sensitivity to the treatment of the skin and the hair, and also the textures on the clothing. I mean, I think you could really push your you know, you could really push a little bit on the colors. You could saturate some certain areas. You could do, I'm sure you're going to just do more, but this is a really great painting with a lot of emotion behind it, and certainly an important discussion. And I like that you did not shy away from making the viewer focus on the eyes. That was really, I thought, quite, again, going into the honesty and the integrity of why you're making work and what makes it important. So congratulations. Those are my honorable mentions. But again, it was really hard to choose. I mean, I think everybody did really well. It's quite overwhelming, actually, to get to see all these works again. I love it. So the 3 awardees, I guess the way that the framework, it was a juror's choice 1 and 2, so equal merit awards, and then a best in show. So Sarah and I had some conversation and about what these monetary awards, how meaningful they are, in addition to the students really submitting work, getting accepted to a show, and having recognition. On top of that, this little extra of, you know, getting a little bit of support to purchase supplies. And I was really happy that Marymount can do that. But I wanted to kind of help facilitate that a little bit more. So for the 2 equal merit awards, the juror's choice 1 and 2, we, and Sarah, if you can help me out here, I think we said they were going to be $75 each.
Yes, there's $75 each as a gift card to Blick.
Yeah, and it will be for Blick.
Yes.
Art supplies.
Blick art supplies.
So, you know, Blick is like really well known for all kinds of art supplies, and I hope that you guys will be able to take advantage of some pre-holiday sales or something, so you can stretch your gift. But you earned it. So the first juror's choice is Katya Little for her digital portrait of Eve. And I do just want to sort of zero in on, yes, something that somebody mentioned in the chat. So from the composition, this is a digital painting, which I think all of the textures and colors are quite amazing, but it also references a lot of art history in it. I think there are many artists, and yes, thank you, Mark. So I think there is, I see a little bit of Rousseau, I see a little bit of Kahlo, I see definitely some of our French Impressionists, but I selected this work because of its distinctive perspective. It presents an artist who fundamentally understands how to use illustrative skill to build a narrative. And this narrative is fully realized, and it's complex, and it's very emotional. And so if you zoom in, Sarah, if you don't mind, on that face of, yeah, you know, that it's, the artist has transported us into this tropical forest with this crouching female figure who's so clearly squelching out the juices from this raw red fruit with this ravenous appetite. And I think the graphic illustration, the way that the artist is playing with colors and textures, the light, it all creates this intriguing story for the viewer. And it makes you think about this ubiquitous myth of Eve. And the artist is really asking you, what do you know? And what do you think? And what if it was something else? So Katya, congratulations. You did this is a great piece. The second $75 Juror's Choice winner was for Oliver Bullington McGuire. Oliver's work is also on an oval canvas. It is intimate for sure, not only in size, but also in content. And I selected this work because of the mastery shown in the medium, the complexity of the theme. The artist clearly has a developed eye for composition and color, paying attention to the details in the background as well as in the foreground, and juxtaposing these really odd color choices. It's so, the way that the color mixing happens on the flesh, the lurid greens and yellows with these pale pasty rose colors, it achieves this result of being very, very authentic and also full of wrenching emotion. So I think if you can zoom in a little bit, you can also tell that the artist is so bold with the way that he's left these swaths of color and the dry brush of the acrylic. That fearlessness demonstrates a passion for honesty and self-discovery and strength in utilizing their talents to really push into an outlet. And I think this is just an amazing painting. So I'm really so happy that you shared it with us. And then for the Best in Show, the prize is increased to $150. And I'd like to point to Oscar Humanark. I did not say that right, I'm sorry. In the Middle of Nowhere. This is a digital photograph. And I selected this work because of the sensitivity that the artist showed in the composition that allows the viewer to discover and contemplate sort of the complexities of the subject and the sign and the chain link fence, and the individuals that are often overlooked by US immigration policies. That chain link dividing the space. And it was so nice to hear from the artist that he had actually constructed this composition, that this wasn't a found area that he just happened on. He actually really constructed it. And I think it shows really strongly the way that sign is leaning, begs us to recognize that there's a failing system. The contemplation and sensitivity of the subject, where they are acknowledging that there's a boundary, but they're not being defined by that boundary, I think is really strong. So those were my selections for the awards. And I just really want to say again, all of the works were exemplary. And if there were more of all the things, we would have everybody. But I really appreciate it. So I don't know if we have any questions or if the artists want to make some comments. We'd love to hear from you.
Sorry, that's really great. Congratulations, everybody, too. And this is very exciting. And thank you for your wonderful presentation on the winners, too, Erica. It's so wonderful to hear your thoughts. And I briefly want to just say before people share, which we would love to hear, is that the awards are actually equally a gift from Marymount and from Erica. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. She graciously contributed to them, which was above and beyond. So yeah, very, very special. We all support you and care about you and are really proud of you and want you to continue. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. So yeah, everybody, yeah, students, we'd love to hear from you. If people have questions, I can kind of facilitate by going through different pieces, and I can also at some point stop share as well. But we really are here to see the work, so.
Hi, it's Oliver. I wanted to say thank you. Like I only submitted one piece, so I wasn't expecting a lot, and like that, thank you so much. It's a really personal piece. I've spent a lot of time this year making pieces like it, and I haven't really gotten an opportunity to share them before out of art class, and I really appreciate feedback and stuff that people have said. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really great to get it out there, right? And to hear people, and then you're influencing, you're sharing, you're giving, you've gotten something out of it by making it, and now it's out in here in the world public. Please share the website, share your work with people that you know. Yeah, congratulations.
This is Alexander. I usually go by Sasha, so I just want to say thank you for having me, and I really enjoyed this exhibition, and I just, I can't be more happy right now, and I'm glad that you could relate somehow to this piece, and yeah, just thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sasha.
And your other piece I didn't put those two together. Yours were two that I didn't, just to scroll down. That's your other piece too.
I wanted to say one thing about just Sasha's methods too. He really, really labored over the pieces that he wanted to, put in, because they were limited to 3. So, I think he feels maybe a little bit relieved too that he made the right choices. But he spent a really long time figuring out which ones he really, really, really wanted to represent. So congratulations, Sasha, and congratulations to everybody. This stuff is awesome. All of the artwork is just beautiful.
Yeah, it's hard to know. It's hard to make that decision. If you have all these pieces, how are you going to choose which one of the 3? Or sometimes, it might just be one. But that is part of that editing process that Erica was also referencing, that respecting to hearing about that. You have to kind of make a decision of what do you want to put out there? What do you like the best? What do you think people might respond to? What kind of decisions go into that? So it's a part of that learning experience too. So it's nice to hear that it was important to you and you really put some thought into it, which ones to submit. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to share or say? Otherwise, we'll probably wrap it up soon. I'm gonna post the winners on the page. So there will be a section on the left that'll say awardees. And so there'll be a link to your piece and the award. So we'll have that recognition there on the left. So that'll go live after we end this wonderful conversation and exhibition and reception for all of you guys.
I guess I do want to have a little closing for in acknowledgement and thank the families for supporting these artists, as well as the faculty members and art department and teachers for encouraging their gifts. It's really important, and Marymount, I think you should have, Sarah and Joe and your whole department should be very proud of fostering this open opportunity to just support the artists in our community. I think, you know, the open calls are some of the best calls because everybody can interpret what's, you know, what's interesting. So I really appreciate the opportunity to be part of this.
Thank you. Yes, it's very important to us to thank the families and the teachers and the support. And you know, we all need support in what we want to do, and especially acknowledging the artists and the support that they need. So thank you all, and thank you, Erica, for all of your energy that you put into it. You really gave it your whole heart, and it shows. So thank you.
Also, just hi, I'm Mark Trowbridge. I used to be the chair of the art department when this got started, and we're just undergoing a structural change. So Doug, who's here, will be sort of taking over the leadership. But I just want to, in addition to echoing the thanks to the families for supporting their these students as they're developing as artists, because I just think about when I was a high school artist, and I'm seeing stuff here that I never matured to that level. And I just want to applaud everybody at the amount of maturity you're showing. And I hadn't got there when I finished my undergraduate degree, so that's fantastic. But I also just wanted to say something to Sarah and Joe, because this was entirely their brainchild 3 years ago. I had nothing to do with it other than say yes. And they were the ones who really put this together. Marymount, all we had to do was just to say, yeah, we'll find a venue, and yeah, we'll dig up enough money to support a few things. And that really wasn't that big a deal. But Sarah and Joe, really, it was their brainchild. And I think it's one of the great things that this institution is doing right now. And I just wanted to make sure that they got the accolades that they were due. We wouldn't be here if they hadn't come up with this idea 3 years ago. And so I just wanted to give my great thanks to that, because I think that not only can the students who are here thank them for this opportunity, and the parents as well. But I think that Marymount owes them a great round of thanks as well. So I just wanted to put that in.
Thank you.
Sarah, could I chime in?
Yeah, that would be great, Joe.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joe Hicks. I'm normally a partner with Sarah in helping to organize this exhibition. I'm on sabbatical, which is basically a leave so that I can do personal research. I have to admit, Sarah, you know, she led this exhibition this year, and I just want to give her a pat on the back, because it's a tremendous effort to organize all of this, and it was a fantastic show. Especially, you know, transferring it to an online platform. That's a lot of back end work. So great job, Sarah. I can't wait to rejoin the team for next year. And also to Erica, you did a great job. I was really excited to listen to all of your explanations, and they were really thoughtful. And I really, really appreciate you contributing to the prizes for the students. That's really commendable. So thanks for doing that. And the biggest thanks goes to the students for, you know, participating and submitting to the show. Your work is absolutely fantastic. And I was really blown away. I did not see any of the submissions until the exhibition, till it was posted yesterday. I got a sneak preview. And I was just really, really impressed with all of your work. The sophistication, the skill level is just really top notch. And to look at what all of our young folks are interested in and are commenting about, whether it's personal, about society, you're doing just an amazing job. And I can't wait for you to see what you come up with in the future. And, you know, we look forward to those of you who will hopefully submit next year. And if not, we'll see you throughout the artist community around the DMV, because I'm sure you'll be participating professionals. So, you know, again, I don't want to take too much time. It's, but I did want to recognize everyone who participated. So thanks so much. And you've done a great job.
Thanks, Joe. It's great to hear from you too, and to see you all. And I just, I will stop share now, just to put it back if you guys can see everybody else who's on here. The video cameras are on, but I just wanted to say that I will post in the chat a link to an opening tomorrow night in case you want more of similar types of things. There's an opening of the senior exhibition at Marymount. So the seniors that have been working on their, developing their work, their body of work, there's an opening reception for them via Zoom. If you think, you're not getting enough Zoom, it'll be really nice to hear what they have to say and support them. And you can feel free to bop in. There's a registration link on the website. So I'll post that on the chat while people are closing off here. In case you're interested or you want to see and you'd like to join and support them. So I can do this quickly.
And one other thing, of course, if you have any questions about Marymount, don't hesitate to reach out to Sarah as well, or anybody else here through the website, because we're happy to talk to you about our art program, what you might do as you leave high school and move on, and if you like these people, if you want to continue to work with them. Don't hesitate to reach out to us as well. We'd be happy to chat with you, show you around the facilities when, quarantines lift and whatnot.
Great. Well, thank you all. Thanks everyone for being here tonight, and it's great to see you all. So I guess that's it. Unless anyone has anything else, we'll conclude, eat dinner, and maybe see some of you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.